I helped my brother walk away from his own wedding, leaving his bride at the altar, after she went behind his back and invited our toxic, estranged mother, fully knowing the pain she caused us. He was heartbroken, but we both knew this betrayal was a massive red flag, and I wasn't about to let him start a marriage built on lies and manipulation. My brothers and I, currently 34, 32, and 28, have an interesting backstory. Our middle brother, Sam, is 30. Our parents separated when I was very young, largely due to our mother's intense possessiveness. While my father initially managed her, remarks about me wanting to emulate his wife became too much. She quickly moved on with a man who had 2 children, and for a time, they shared custody. However, when my father remarried, she became unhinged, spewing insults at his new wife and fabricating stories about his fidelity during their marriage. I always felt a stronger bond with my brothers and father, as my mother consistently treated me unkindly. In a tragic turn of events, my stepmother died in a severe car accident. My father called our mother in the middle of the night to inform her he'd pick us up early for the funeral. Her response was to whisk us away on a fun trip to commemorate something. It was the most joyful we'd ever seen her. Upon realizing what had happened and starting to cry, she declared that only worthless people cry for whites. This, as you can imagine, escalated things dramatically. My father sought full custody with supervised visits for her. He maintained an open line of communication and funded our visits when she moved, but the relationship remained strained. As soon as we turned 18, we began to limit contact. Our last encounter was at my high school graduation, where she made a point of telling anyone who would listen that we were ungrateful children and her husband would also call us names. We've been estranged ever since. My brother Sam began dating his ex 3 years ago. She was aware of our history and the reasons for our estrangement, but she seemed to think we were being overly dramatic. Their relationship faced many challenges due to her views, but she eventually appeared to abandon her mission to reconcile us with our mother. During the wedding preparations, there were no red flags. Then, at the church, our mother, her husband, and their 2 children were seated in the front row. I immediately panicked and contacted my brothers. Sam initially thought she might have discovered the wedding details and intended to disrupt it, so he called his ex to alert her to the potential chaos. However, she told him it was perfectly fine because she had invited them. Sam hung up and asked me to join him at home while our oldest brother handled the situation at the church. We went home and effectively sealed ourselves inside, even as his ex, her family, and friends tried to reason with him. Our mother's husband even called, reiterating that he always knew we were worthless. Now that the dust has settled, most of Sam's friends and much of our family are on his side. His ex-fiance's parents have threatened legal action to recover the money they contributed if he doesn't marry her, but Sam prefers to reimburse them than marry someone who betrayed him. My immediate family wholeheartedly supports Sam, but the fallout has been significant. To add some further details, some have inquired, but no, she has not apologized. She even went so far as to text my oldest brother, Joe, saying she thought their presence would be a thoughtful wedding gift for Sam, as she valued family. My father had bought them a house as a wedding present, but only Sam's name is on the deed. She had keys for when they moved in, but the locks were changed today. Joe and some cousins are retrieving all of Sam's belongings from her apartment this week. We are not concerned about being sued, but we will consult with a lawyer as a precaution. We also heard our mother and her family are still in town, but since we are all staying at our childhood home for a few days, we are unconcerned. My father is upset that Sam is heartbroken but is trying to cheer him up, along with my boyfriend and my sister-in-law. I had to delete or deactivate my social media because of the barrage of nasty comments and messages, but the more people learn why Sam left, the less harassment I receive. I still regret that she felt humiliated, but my brother's well-being comes first. Regarding the aftermath at the church, Joe shared that he stood up before everyone and announced that Sam would not be attending, asking them to please go home. He also stated that all gifts delivered to our side of the family would be returned promptly. Sam's ex was still outside the church when someone in her family informed her of the situation, and she began screaming, crying, and calling Sam repeatedly. Our mother attempted to speak with Joe, who completely ignored her. When she couldn't provoke a reaction, she started weeping loudly and lamenting how cruelly we treated her, and some people began consoling her. This is her typical behavior, but Joe and his wife were unfazed. When they exited the church, Sam's ex was waiting, demanding to see Sam, but Joe refused. She then wanted to know what to do about the party, and he offered to arrange for the food to be donated to the staff at the venue so it wouldn't go to waste if she no longer wanted to use the space. Everyone was shouting except Joe, as he did not want to give our mother the satisfaction. Joe and my sister-in-law came home after stopping at the supermarket and some fast food restaurants, and we've been inside like children again, with 2 additional family members. We asked Sam if he wanted them to leave, but he said he wanted them there. We had all taken time off to spend family time after the wedding anyway, so it's not an issue currently. When Sam's ex came to the gate, we realized she would not be using the venue, so my sister-in-law called them with Sam's information, told them to take the food, and also sent them some tips for their trouble. It seems we will get back all the alcohol my father paid for, so we anticipate a very spirited end to the year. A few people messaged me asking why our father ever married our mother, and the answer is he genuinely loved her and believed she was the kindest person. It turns out she wasn't, but she knew no one, except perhaps her unpleasant husband, would marry her unless she feigned kindness. He considered staying with her until we were adults, but she continued to worsen. She would sometimes become very pleasant, and he thought she was changing, only for her to revert. As for Sam's ex-fiancée, we have no doubt she believes our mother is a kind person with ungrateful children because our mother is extremely charming, and for some, it's amusing to make fun of others as long as it's not directed at them. However, that still doesn't excuse Sam's ex. The only person Sam offered an explanation to was his boss, who was at the church, but he is very understanding and was quite shocked by what our mother subjected us to since we are relatively well-adjusted. Happy people. Our father said it was a shock for all of us, and we can stay home as long as we need. Sam is moving home temporarily. I showed my family the post, and they are touched by your kindness. But Sam wants you all to know his ex wasn't displaying any concerning behaviors, and he genuinely believed she understood his upbringing. He agreed to speak with her and her parents today, but only if it's at our home and we are present to support him, so it's going to be an interesting visit. Adding some more information, Sam incurred some financial loss, but it won't significantly impact him. Her parents covered her dress, a very elaborate cake, and part of the honeymoon. Sam's ex wasn't the most beloved in-law, but we truly believed she loved Sam. We have no contact with our mother's side of the family. Joe used to have some contact with our grandmother, but after his wedding, another display he avoided, he cut her off too. Our mother's comments about me wanting to be like his wife stemmed from her belief that it was inappropriate for us to have daddy-daughter days or outings. The thing is, there were also Daddy Joe days and Daddy Sam days. He always tried to spend time with us individually and as a group. She is simply unwell. We don't openly discuss our childhood, so when people ask about our parents, the standard answer is just my dad, or just my siblings and my dad. Most people assume our mother is deceased, and it helps avoid inquiries about not speaking to her. Our mother's stepchildren are both male and in their early 30s. Our father has a long-term girlfriend, and we are very fond of her. She has been occupied with her own activities these past few days, but she assures us she has our full support. Now for the update. I wondered why Sam agreed to the meeting after not even speaking to her, but it turns out she sent videos and photos of all his belongings strewn across the floor to his best friend, Tom, and told him that Sam either talked to her or she would burn or destroy everything. Tom came to visit Sam, told him what happened, and they informed her they needed access to the apartment before anything happened. Tom, Joe, a couple of cousins, and my boyfriend went and retrieved his clothes, electronics, and important paperwork. Sam said he didn't care about the rest, and even joked that they were the fastest moving crew he knew. The meeting was, for lack of a better word, absurd. She arrived with her parents and sisters, tried to speak to Sam alone, but when he didn't allow it, she just started talking. Not once did she apologize. She said it wasn't her fault we didn't understand the value of a real family and that we were raised to hate mothers. Her only intention was for Sam to learn to value mothers because she was afraid he would take her children away from her, as that's what he was taught to do. Sam didn't say anything until she called our family, like a cult, and insulted my father, looking at him. As you can imagine, this is a sensitive point for all of us, and we do not tolerate insults toward our father under any circumstances. Sam then unleashed, calling her a hateful liar. He expressed disgust that he had ever even touched her hand, and was grateful to the universe that I am chronically early for everything. He told her that staying with a cheating husband, as her mother does, is nothing to be proud of. He said she pretended to be kind just so he would marry her. He revealed all the minor things he had been willing to overlook because he truly loved her, or at least who he thought she was. He stated he would never forgive her for the pain she caused his siblings, but he doesn't hate her because that would require him to expend energy thinking about her, and she doesn't deserve that. In the end, he said she had ample time to clarify things, and since she has acted like a victim, he would be the one to let everyone know why he didn't show up. It was brutal but cathartic and necessary for Sam. Her parents said nothing but were very red-faced. She was crying. Her sisters attempted to defend her and their parents' relationship and were somewhat expecting my whole family to argue too. But we did not. Then Sam told his ex's father that he could sue if he wanted, but if he did, Sam would expose all his family's dirty laundry to the world, and he doubted he wanted that. Amazingly, the father still argued that Sam could try to make amends and marry his ex because they are not getting any younger and all families fight. I have never rolled my eyes harder. The rest of the meeting covered logistics for returning the wedding gifts already received, stopping the harassment from their family, the cancellation and refund of the honeymoon, and changing the locks. Sam's ex just kept crying and trying to talk to Sam, but he was in business mode and wanted nothing from her. He only replied to her directly when she said she was keeping her engagement ring, which nobody asked for. They left without issues. When the alcohol was delivered, our mother and her husband sneaked through the gate when we opened it. She said she just wanted to talk to her babies, and my father asked her to leave. She kept screaming that he raised us wrong and that we had embarrassed her with our behavior. She couldn't believe we were such bad people and that we should start making amends with her because we clearly lacked maternal love. She got that right, and this was the pathetic result. At that point, Joe went out and told her to leave since the police were on their way. She took it as an opportunity to cry since it was the first time in about a decade he had spoken to her, and she tried to sweet-talk him into going to dinner with her and her husband. But Joe just told her to leave and that the only news he ever wanted to hear related to her was about her funeral, so he could go celebrate. Cue hysterical crying and screaming from her husband, demanding an apology and threatening to hit Joe. My dad and Joe went back inside and left them there until we saw they left and closed the gate. It's hard for some people to understand why we react as we do, but the things I wrote about our mother are just the tip of the iceberg. Our father wasn't exactly proud of what Joe said, but he understood Joe needed to vent and that he was speaking for all of us. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we truly do not want to see this woman ever again. We are all going to have some family therapy in addition to our individual sessions. Sam doesn't want the house anymore, but my father says to take it slowly. And the first step is to mend his heart. We have had horror movie marathons and some Disney classics sprinkled in. We also had a drama bingo game going on for all the things that could possibly happen, because I guess we are truly dramatic after all. We love each other and were raised to treat people well, but we can be petty when pushed. I also feel better knowing she humiliated herself, and while I wouldn't wish to be left at the church on anyone, I would do it again because I love my brother more than I feel bad for her. We will eventually go on a family trip, but right now, we will continue our staycation. To the person who said Joe is a hero, his siblings couldn't ask for a better brother and friend. We've read everything so far. Thank you for letting me vent and for the awards and messages. I apologize if my English was not up to standard. Joe and Sam's names are obviously fabricated, but Daniela, go yourself. A small note, my brothers are reading your messages and comments. They want you to know we understand how fortunate we are. They appreciate the positivity and want you to know it gets better for those in the same situation. You are all welcome to our cult. Additional clarifications. If you wish to send a private message, it's fine, even if it's to insult us. Please know I will only respond in public forums. Joe was not parentified. To the person who wrote me a harsh essay about it, here is the answer. My brothers spent time with me because they wanted to. We had special days together or with each other. They did all the activities they wanted, had many friends, went on trips with me or alone, etc. There were nannies, family members, my father. They were never forced to take me with them against their will. They had a lot of freedom within reason. My parents divorced when I was 3, and even if there was shared custody, we stayed 90% of the time with Dad, and we never visited our mother unless we were in at least pairs. The only times Joe or Sam visited her after turning 18 was when I was requested to visit because they didn't want me to go alone. We have all been in therapy for a very long time. We are just having special sessions because we saw our mother. However, Joe is the only one who interacted with her. Also, please know that Sam and I know how to defend ourselves and did not ask Joe to confront her. He did it by himself. Why didn't my dad go to the church with Joe? Because Sam asked him to go home. We didn't think he needed to see the woman, even if he had to talk to her after. Sam has cried. He is not a monster. He is heartbroken. Thought he would spend the rest of his life with Daniela. Thought he was a good judge of character. Thought he didn't have to see our mother ever again. There are many emotions going on, but because of our upbringing, we are very good at keeping our emotions in check in front of people we don't trust or like. It was a survival skill we developed to deal with how we were treated. Joe had a relationship with our grandmother but stopped talking to her after she invited our mother as her +1. There was no religious ceremony. The venue had security, and there was a no-entry list. He sent our grandmother a letter and didn't talk to her again. We also didn't attend her funeral. The wedding had about 250 guests. When making the wedding list and seating chart, she used other names, which is how we didn't know about it. Daniela is not Brazilian. My dad requested that I inform you all that his kids are not alcoholics. He is worried about people thinking that, even if this is anonymous, lol. Anyway, this week has been really chaotic. Those who said to be prepared for the pregnancy tactic were incredibly accurate. She posted it online. People were freaking out again and calling Sam, asking him if it was true. Sam called her and asked that she delete it. She continued claiming she was pregnant. He asked her to delete it and to come talk about it. She deleted it, met up with Sam, and somehow this crazy woman thought he wanted her back. I went with Sam. She was very happy until she saw me enter the place. She started crying, holding her stomach, and when Sam asked her if she really was pregnant, she said yes and told him she didn't want her child to be from a broken family. Sam told her they were going to the doctor immediately to know for sure, and she cried even more, screaming he didn't trust her. Long story short, she isn't pregnant, but she posted Sam was forcing her to have an abortion, and she was devastated. As you may imagine, this was a horrible thing to say. People were calling Sam because they are so whiplashed from the drama they don't know what to believe anymore. When my sister-in-law, Anna, found out about the posts and the meeting, she called Daniela. I am unsure what was said in that conversation, but I also never saw Anna this angry. The posts are down, but Anna wrote an email with all relevant information, including that Daniela was never pregnant, and sent it to everybody on the wedding list. This morning, we heard Daniela had a breakdown after leaving voicemails telling Sam if she couldn't be with him, she wanted to die. This is another tactic straight out of our mother's playbook, and Sam simply called the police and told them what happened. Her family forced her into therapy, and she is under observation right now. It brings us no pleasure that it came to this, but we don't want to get involved anymore. We are also changing our numbers. We have already requested it. Our mother emailed Anna, threatening to sue her for defamation regarding the email blast, but we are not worried about it either. Anna's parents are amazing, and they have made it perfectly clear they are on our side and 100% agree with the way she handled things. Joe was enraged, but Anna convinced him to let it go and simply move on. Our mother's husband has been a peach as usual. Our dad is considering a restraining order, but they are not very effective in our country. We did have a get-together at home yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. There was karaoke, dancing, nice food and drinks, games, and a bouncy house, because why not? We love them. Most people avoided the topic of the wedding and the posts, but those who brought them up did so tactfully. Our dad had already given away a lot of the alcohol to his employees. They got to choose what they wanted and got a bottle each. He is also adding bottles into his Christmas baskets this year. We are going to spend the holidays together and traveling. I told Sam about the new paint for the house, but he just doesn't want to live there. He will rent it. I made a joke about me simply eloping or not having a proper wedding to avoid drama. And Joe told me in no uncertain terms that I get the biggest party ever if I choose to. So yeah, he is still the best. Thank you for your kind comments and messages. Not thanking the mean ones, the awards, and the interest. Sorry to the nice Danielas out there, it wasn't for you. Thank you for all your interest. You are very kind, and it is always a pleasure logging in and updating you on our cult. First, some points. This is the best subreddit and YouTube. You're part of the family lore now. I do read every single comment, message, etc. Some commented that I particularly lacked a feminine figure in my life, but I had my grandmother, aunts, etc. My dad's girlfriend, Rita, is not a mother figure, and I don't feel I'm a bad woman because of it. When I had my period and told my dad, he had a whole thing prepared. Then he informed my brothers, and each had a whole thing prepared themselves. They each had their own approach, and the others didn't know about it. Long story short, I had 3 men taking care of it, and even doing a presentation about it. It might sound super awkward for me, but it was even more awkward for them. It is a hilarious story and reminds me how much they thought about me all the time. Rita is amazing, and we love her, but she has no problem not being married to my dad. My dad doesn't want to get married again. If he did, we would support him. Daniela is okay. Her sisters tried to make a huge drama and accuse us of being horrible, but after the email sent by Anna, nobody is buying it. One of them was also attacked by her boyfriend because he didn't want to be related to a toxic family. I will not disclose where we live or what our dad does for a living, so please don't ask about it again. We have new numbers, new social media handles, and are planning to move. Joe and I also have a little note with fake real names and relationships, and I do type my posts in Word. It's mainly so I don't mess up my ramblings. My dad wants you all to know your applications to the cult have been accepted. Anyway, I checked the last update, and I can't believe it was only in early November. I have mainly good updates for you. Sam is doing well. He is taking time off work, His boss is very understanding about him needing time and told him he can always come back there. He is still living with dad and using his savings, so he is not worried about that aspect. He is running now and has decided to run a marathon next year. He is more and more his goofy self and is doing renovations at home, or in other words, Dad and Sam are trying to paint some rooms and do murals. It is hilarious, and they have a lot of fun. Daniela wrote him a letter, but he sent it back. The house was put on the market as a rental, and he is okay with it. I am engaged. It turns out it has been months in the making, and when I made the joke about eloping, my future husband, Matt, panicked. I discovered the plan. He spoke with Sam, who already knew of the plans because he didn't want to make him uncomfortable. But Sam said it would actually make him uncomfortable if he didn't. He also spoke with Joe and my dad. My dad made him sweat when he asked for my hand, saying it was not his to give, but they say it was all in good fun. It happened earlier this month. I am very excited, but not as much as my dad. He says he wants to walk me down, even if it is a civil wedding. While my news is amazing, I believe the other big news around is better. Joe and Anna have been on the adoption list for a while, and as of a couple weeks ago, they have a baby girl. She is the most beautiful, sweet, best baby ever. The adoption is final, as it usually is in our country for newborn or almost newborn babies. We knew they wanted to adopt for a while, so when they told us about the baby being officially theirs, there was a lot of crying, but happy crying. Dad is in full grandpa mode, and even as bad as some things got this year, this is the best thing that happened to our family. As for our mother, she did learn about the baby and demanded an introduction. She has been served our version of an order of protection. She will never lay eyes on her if we can help it. Those are the bad news. Due to the new COVID-19 situation, we decided to stay home. Now with the baby, we wouldn't travel, of course. We had a Christmas, welcome baby, and engagement small gathering last weekend, which Joe and his niece didn't attend since she is too young, but they were there via Zoom. We all agreed to give Sam some goofy gifts, such as t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, etc., of Julia Roberts, since, you know, he is the runaway bride of the family. The reason Joe and I are considering moving is that we live in apartments at the moment, and we want to live in houses. We are still shaken up, and we know we have work to do, but we know we have so much, and we want to focus on it because the negative is in the minority, and no matter what happens, I am always grateful for my family. I believe this will be the last update, folks. I know the last ones have been mainly drama-free and might not be as exciting, but we aim for that. Not planning on deleting anything. The account will be here in case something worth updating happens. I wish you all the best end of the year and an amazing 2022. Hello, cult members. I guess we should catch up whoever still wants to know what's going on with the cult, not to lose the rhythm. First, some points. By popular demand. Yes, our native language is Spanish. Adoptions are final in our country, done by the government, and we rarely have situations like open adoptions. Joe and Anna had been waiting for a bit since they decided that's how they wanted to have kids together. I said habemus, as in we have, like when they announced the Pope, LOL. We are now 35, 33, and 29. HB was supposed to mean husband, but I love the huge bastard interpretation. It works both ways, honestly. Joe and I moved as we planned last year. The year has been pretty good, just minor drama around. Daniela can still go herself, though. Anyway, let's do the kind of bad news first. Daniela came back with a swing we were not expecting. She is pregnant and claims to whomever would listen that Sam is the father. Sadly for her, it is literally impossible for him to be the father, since he was not even in the country when the baby would have been conceived, but she had no way of knowing that. Sam has offered repeatedly to have a paternity test done, but she refuses. Sam is safe legally. He just feels bad for her baby. Daniela's dad did sue Sam for emotional distress of 2 of his daughters, Daniela and the one the boyfriend left. But nothing happened since it was handled. Surprise, Joe is a lawyer. It is relevant info for this catch-up, I promise. Sam decided not to do anything against him since he has too much on his plate and feels pity for the family. Our mother still insisted on meeting the baby, but that will never happen. She dusted off one of her favorite tactics. She has cancer. She contacted Joe and Anna through their work emails and begged them to help her meet the baby since she is so sick, most likely would need a transplant of something, etc. You'll see. This is like the 5th time she has claimed to have cancer. But in reality, she has had cancer a total of 0 times. She loves the attention, the suffering, the drama, and all that good stuff bad people like to bring out of others. We never believed her, of course, but what we didn't expect was that she would make a fool of herself when she contacted Anna's mom on Facebook. Anna's mom is a lovely, good Catholic lady, so our mother must have assumed she would be easy to manipulate. She told her about her cancer and how heartbroken she was not to meet the baby. Anna's mom proceeded to ask a couple of questions about the diagnosis and treatment, which made no sense as expected. Then she blocked her and posted the screenshots on her wall. It is like high school drama, only it's with older folks, and it has hilarious comebacks. The baby is otherwise very happy, very healthy, and the only controversy regarding her was the question of what Rita would be called, not by Rita, but by our mother, who claimed Rita had no right to be called Grandma. Joe and Anna talked with Rita, and they all agreed for all intents and purposes she is Grandma Rita, and our mother can do nothing about it. Sam is doing well. He quit his job and started something on his own. He's still living at the family home, renting the other house, and kind of seeing someone. She is nice, knows about all the stuff, makes amazing cakes, and knows how to knit. We like her, so we are both positive and cautious. They are taking it slow, but it's nice to see him with someone like this. He also kept on painting rooms with Dad, and the results are, please remember I love these two, embarrassingly funny, ridiculous, and like something you do in kindergarten. Our dad got COVID for the first time, and he got so scared he decided to update his will. That's why Joe's profession is important. They wanted Sam and I to know about it when they finished it up. Everything he owns is divided in 4, his kids and the other quarter to any grandchildren. However, the family house is not to be divided and is going to be put in my name soonest. I was a bit confused, but Joe and Dad discussed it and wanted me to have it if and only if Sam agreed. He did and is very happy about it. They didn't really offer many explanations other than it was the right thing to do. I sense a little bit because I'm the baby there, but it's okay. Joe bought a house in the same neighborhood as our family home. Thus, even if they are not in the same block or anything, they're close by. Matt and I are not buying anything anymore since I will be getting the house, and it would make no sense. We moved to the family home, and it has been interesting but nice. Dad has started semi-retirement and spending more days at Rita's, so it works for everybody. Sam will of course get to stay there as long as he wants, but his murals would have to go LOL. We are still engaged, still happy, still enjoying babysitting, and still not pregnant, but got a cat during the spring. We are planning a December wedding and couldn't ask for a better end of the year. So that's it. No drama, or at least not huge drama. We are moving forward and healing continuously, which is the way we like it. In case you wonder why I decided to post now, one of us is a huge fan of Best of Redditor updates, and we got reminded about the posts. Anyway, greetings from the cult, and we wish you all a good last few months of 2022. Hello Reddit. First, as is tradition, we now have 2 cats. Sam moved in with his girlfriend, and we just love that he's happy again. Dad has semi-moved in with Rita. It has been bittersweet, but overall we remain positive and supportive of each other. Let's do bad news first. It turns out that there was indeed cancer on our mother's side, just not hers. One of her stepchildren actually had it and passed away at the beginning of the year. She is milking it for all it's worth, and we are disgusted by her as usual. While we can empathize with the loss, we are not changing our stance on being estranged from her and her whole family. Daniela had her baby, a very cute boy that is not Sam's. Not that we ever doubted that. She did try to make him recognize him and sign stuff, but he refused, and after the test, there was nothing she could do. She did lose her mind when she heard Sam was seriously dating, and even worse when he moved in with his girlfriend. She still believes he is the one for her and is fixated on it. She tried to cyberbully the girlfriend, but this woman is made of something else. Oh, and yes, the father of her child is the married co-worker in his 50s, which is another show from what we've heard, but not ours. Sam moved in with his girlfriend. He's still in therapy, we all are, but doing much better. His girlfriend is a very well-liked and beloved member of the family. She understands everything that has happened and integrated perfectly. He is also doing great in other areas, and he did run his first marathon. Not the best timing, but hey, he did it. Joe, Anna, and the baby are very happy. They are still on the list as interested to adopt since they would like to have at least another one. I also wanted to explain something again. In my country, adoptions are not done by agencies. You get on a list after some tests and interviews to see if you are a good candidate, and when it happens that you match, you get the baby. That baby is yours, and that's it. I know I am still a bit vague, but please remember we are not from the US, and things are different in each country. Apart from that, the baby is just the best baby ever. Yes, I might be biased, but she also gets told no a lot because we all agree that she should not be spoiled, or well, too spoiled. She has a room at our house, Rita's, and a playing pin at Sam's because they are looking for a permanent house, and they do home office. Dad is basically living with Rita. She is pretty happy about it, and they took a couple of trips recently. They love being grandparents and are very hands-on. They now claim 3 grandbabies since the cats sometimes go there too. It is hilarious. Because my dad was not so warm on the idea of cats at first, but now he even takes photos of all his babies, and he prints the best ones because that's what he's used to. He also shares progress updates with his friends, and sometimes they are confused if he's talking about the cats or the baby since he gets so excited about anything they do, and he buys them all too many toys in my opinion, but apparently that's what a grandpa does, lol. We did get married in December. My dad walked me down, even if we did non-traditional stuff for my country. Joe was Matt's best man. Sam was my best mate. He insisted on being called Julio the whole planning process. When it was about the wedding, our mother did try to come and tried to convince Anna's mom about it, but she would not tell her anything. Some of our mother's relatives said it was undignified, unsure if it's the right word, to have Rita there instead of my own mother, but well, I think it is disgusting to condone her actions, so to each their own. We had a blast, and it was not stressful at all. Nobody ran away, nobody cried of sadness, nobody tried to make a scene. We are remodeling a part of the house to make it more ours and not to be in my childhood bedroom anymore. But so far everything is going very good for the cult. Sam got slightly fewer Julia Roberts gifts, but he wears his t-shirts with pride all year round. On a last bit, Sam's girlfriend has approached us with the idea of proposing to Sam when the time is right. So who knows? Maybe this time he actually makes it to the altar.